Hello, my beautiful friends. How is everybody doing? I hope everybody's having an amazing day. I am so excited about today's video because it's actually a requested video. One of our amazing friends here, Katherine, she has made a suggestion and it's absolutely brilliant. And I'll place her comment somewhere around here. She had suggested that I do like a rating or rate all of my alter ego palettes. And I mean, that is absolutely brilliant. So that's what I'm going to be doing today. And I put a little twist on it. So if that seems like something you might enjoy, please stick around because we're about to get into all that right now. Okay, so I have 10 alter ego palettes. I could not believe it when I pulled them out of my drawer. And yeah, I knew I had a lot of alter ego palettes, but I did not realize I had this many. And the most amazing thing is, I think all of these were gifted to me. I may have purchased maybe one, possibly two, but the rest were gifted to me by alter ego. So yeah, I am so grateful that they include me in any launch or anything like that. Whenever there's a new launch, they send me their palettes. So yeah, I'm always so grateful. But they're amazing palettes. And usually I think all of them that I've ever had, or all of the ones I do have, they're dupes to something. So I'm going to go through all of that. I'm going to tell you what they're duped to. I'll place the picture. If I don't have the palette, I only have two of the palettes, which I'm surprised that are dupes. But yeah, I'll place pictures up here. That way you guys can go back to this video if you ever want to see what the palette is, the alter ego palette is, and its dupe, and how it placed or rated in my rating here. So let's get started. I'm going to start with number 10 and we'll work our way up. So number 10 is the Coastal palette. It's this palette here. And again, I've mentioned this many times that I absolutely love so many of their covers or their packaging, because whoever does like I don't know if it's art or if it's pictures or what it is, but it's absolutely beautiful. So that is the Coastal palette here, and I will show you what it looks like inside. All of their palettes have mirrors, which is really nice. But yeah, this is the color story. This is just not a color story that I gravitate to, but there are shades in here that I would definitely use. Like this side here, I definitely would use. I'm a neutral gal. There's really pretty, this purple. Like I would pull this palette out and place some of these shimmers with something, maybe if I just had even this look, I could pop on this shade right here. It's a beautiful, as you can see, it's a really shifty shade. So a lot of these the shimmers, they have some shift. So this one here, let me find it. I took some notes here. So the Coastal palette is a dupe to the Huda Quartz. So I'm going to place this palette here. I'll place the Huda Quartz palette right here. And that way you can see how close their palettes really are. And honestly, the formula, whenever I use them, they're very close. I do have a couple of the dupe palettes and I did a side by side. And yeah, it's very, very close. Now, the other reason why this one, there were a few shades that were just very, I would just sheer. They weren't as pigmented. So that's why it's number 10, but it's still actually a very beautiful palette. And honestly, another reason why too is it's very seasonal. Like I feel like you could only really use this in the spring and summer. I really don't foresee anybody using this even in the winter. Again, maybe if you just pull a couple shades, you could do that. But very pretty palette. Is just, yeah, it's got to play somewhere. So it's number 10. Okay, so number 9 is the Wildwood palette. This one here is a dupe to the Natasha Denona Yucca palette. So I'll place a side by side in a minute. But again, but look at this packaging. It's so beautiful. And this one actually is a newer palette to their collection. And again, let me just show you what it looks like inside. So it's very colorful. You know, and that's the thing, I just don't see myself using this shade. There's just a few shades in here that I just don't see myself gravitating towards. And I think that's why it, you know, fell lower in the stack here. So, but this shade is absolutely beautiful. The shimmers are pretty. Now, I think too with the shimmers, a couple of those, if I'm remembering right, they just felt, I don't know, they didn't feel, okay, this one here, I'm just going to show you. Like, I just feel like they just kind of were too light, maybe. I can't, I don't know. Like when I swatch them, I just feel like some of them are more, you just got to build up on them. So that's why, again, they got to fall somewhere in this pile. But it's a beautiful palette. It's just the reason why I put it at the bottom is because I just don't see myself using, you know, a lot of the shades in this palette. But let me do a side by side to the Yucca palette. So, yeah, it's very, very close. It's very hard to tell the difference between them. And they always have, I'm almost positive, they always have the same amount of pans. Maybe one or two might be missing, but it's pretty close. Okay, and then number 8 is Harmony. And again, I believe this is a newer palette as well. Again, the packaging is so beautiful. I just absolutely love it. And Harmony, its dupe is a Natasha Denona Retro palette. So do I have that? Yes, I do have that palette. So this is the color story here. Again, this is absolutely beautiful. Now, the reason why I put this lower in the stack is because it has a lot of shades that do irritate my eyes. Now, it's not going to make any sense to you because as I move up, you're going to see, yeah, you're going to go, they don't make sense. But again, it's just got to fall somewhere in the stack. And I do feel I just wouldn't gravitate towards this one because the only neutral shade is basically that. This is super peach or orange. This one here is a shimmer. So yeah, the only mattes really is this one. And I find with their burgundies, they just lack luster if you ask me, but I really can't. Yeah. Okay. So I, did about 3 swirls and that is this shade's color payoff. So I don't know if I've accidentally hit, hard pan, but I'm going to do that one. And I'm going to do also Sense. Now, some Sense feels a little more creamy, but I just watched these. Yeah, this one and this one. And you're going to see what I'm talking about. So that, yeah, see what I mean? But then that one. So it could be a matter of hard pan. I could have done something, but as you can see, where I'm getting at. Okay, so I do have the Natasha Denona Retro palette. So let me put them up side by side. And here you go. I mean, they just moved the placement of the pans, but it's pretty darn close. So let me go into that one shade that seemed to lack that luster. And let me find the one, it's dupe shade that's in here. I think it is in the retro. I think it's Groove. And let's just see, or it could be this one here. So let's see. Yeah, this shade is just not, I don't even know if I can find the dupe to that one because it's just so light. So there you go. So that's why it's falling a little bit lower in my stack, but it's a beautiful palette. It has beautiful shimmers in here. Like, let me just swatch a couple of the Alter Ego's shimmers. So, because their shimmers are really beautiful. So let me just show you those. There's one there. This is all coming from this Harmony palette, of course, but yeah, the shimmers are very buttery. They're very pigmented. I don't think I've ever run into, I don't know, a shimmer that I don't like in theirs. Just sometimes they're just a little bit more of a topper, but that's even with the Natasha Denona palette. So that one is Harmony. Number 8. Number 7, Midsummer came into play here, and it's just a very small palette. I don't even think they have this palette anymore available, and it looks like this. It's absolutely beautiful. I pulled this one out and I'm like, oh my gosh, I totally forgot about that. Now, I will say this shade right here, purples are very hard. I don't care who the brand is. They're just a very hard shade. So let me swatch it. I did swirl it several times, but that is that, you know. So, you know, and the funny thing is, and it's going to make sense, the dupe palette to this is by Beverly Hills Anastasia. It's the Nueva, I think. No, Nova. I'm so bad. Anyway, it makes sense because I feel like Beverly Hills Anastasia, they always throw like a shade in there that doesn't make any sense to the palette. Do you guys find that? But this is absolutely beautiful. I love the greens. Our friend here, Michaela, she would absolutely, I love this palette. She probably has it in the ABH. But yeah, let me do a side by side so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Very, very close. And again, I don't think that they make this palette, but it's beautiful. It's number 7. And honestly, I probably will be pulling this out to use a few of these shades. So really, really pretty. Number 6, the Sahara palette comes in, and its dupe is by Natasha Denona. It's the Biba, I think it is, the Biba palette. And this is the shade. So this one is just a very warm palette. It's absolutely beautiful. Again, I feel like this might be like a seasonal palette, more towards leaning towards fall time. But then they have other shades like this gray is really interesting. I don't think I've ever used that shade. But yeah, the only reason why it's just very warm and I think very deep for my skin tone, but I can always make it work because I pull this palette out a lot. I think I just put it in a recent video because I started pulling that out quite often. But again, it has to fall somewhere in the stack. So let me put up its dupe by Natasha Denona. Again, it's the Biba palette. So absolutely stunning. Yeah, these are really pretty. So let's switch that gray because it's called Clay actually. And let's just see what that looks like. So, ooh, it's really actually quite pretty. So yeah, you know, it's just sometimes hard to come up with a look with some of the shades. For me, I have a hard time anyway. That's probably always been my weak spot is eyeshadows, and to find something to go with it. Okay, we're going to be doing another giveaway. I'm not showing myself on camera because my hair looks like crazy. I just got up out of bed, but I did want to throw another giveaway in this video. So you're going to be getting from one size here. This is called, I believe, the Lip Snatcher, and this is in the shade Be About It. And let me just show you the shade if I can get this open without ruining the box. So this is the shade. So it looks like one side, this is like a nude color, and then this is like a gloss that you could put over it. So yeah, that looks really interesting. Again, this is what it says. It's the Lip Snatcher Velvet Flex Cream to Cushion. What is it? I'm trying to read through my phone. Gloss Lip Duo. So yeah, this is what you would be getting from one size. And then you'll be getting a mascara from Anastasia Beverly Hills. This is the Lengthening and Volumizing Mascara. Also from Anastasia Beverly Hills, you'll also be getting the clear brow gel. So that is really nice. I love her brow gel. And then from Il Maquillage, this is a palette and very nice packaging. I mean, this is pretty hefty, weighted, and it has a mirror. And this is the palette here. So a very nice neutral palette. So you'll be getting all 4 of these items. I'll have all the directions, like always, in the description box. And also in the subject or somewhere in the email, write the word fancy because These are all high end, so more fancy products. But yeah, just write fancy. That way I know that you are in this giveaway. All right, you guys, good luck and make sure to follow all the directions to a T, and we'll go back to the video. So that is number 6. Number 5 is Goddess. This is an absolutely a beautiful palette. You know, I remember when I first got it, I could not stop using it. And it is so pretty. Again, it's a warm palette. And its dupe is the Natasha, I don't know why her name is such a tongue twister to me. Natasha Denona Gold palette, not the golden, gold. So that is what this looks like. So beautiful. This shimmer is just unbelievable. This one is just very different. This shade I use a lot. I use it like as an eyeliner. I'll mix it with like a mixing medium or my Miss AOA one, that little liquid that I can make any, you know, eyeshadow into an eyeliner. So I use that, you know, that way a lot. I also place it on my lower lash line a lot. It's just beautiful to throw a pop of color in it. You can tell it's very well loved. So it's, yeah, like I said, it's not one that I don't like. It's just, it's got to fall into this stack somehow. So let me just swatch a few of these beautiful shimmers. I just feel like some of their palettes are just more blendable, creamy, buttery than others. Isn't that beautiful? Yeah, that is absolutely stunning. Love it. Okay, so that is a number 5. Number 4 here is Miss Haven or Mist Haven, and its dupe is. Did I show you the side by side of that one? Oh, I think I have to go back to this one. I don't think I did, so let me just do it here really quickly. So. Very close. Again, you really can't tell just by looking at them. You know, some people really frown upon dupes, and I never really understood that. I mean, I can see if, you know, the brand is copying everything from the names, from the packaging, all of that. But a dupe, I just find, you know, some people really can't afford, you know, those expensive palettes. And this just gives them that opportunity to try to come up with a look, you know, that someone's doing with a Natasha Denona or ABH or a Huda palette. And it just gives them that opportunity, you know, to follow along and to come up with that look. So for me, you know, I just feel that dupes are nice, you know, because I know I can't afford all of the Natasha Denona palettes. Who does, you know? And this way I have that opportunity. If I see somebody and I'm like, oh my gosh, that look is absolutely gorgeous, I can go into my alter ego collection here and come up with that look. So, or something very close to it. Okay, let's get back into it. What number am I on? On number 4, the Mist Haven, and its dupe is, let me find it in my little notes here. Okay, the Huda Grunge palette. So, I mean, this one is so beautiful. Now, this one is definitely a cool tone, a palette. There are some creams in here. I believe it's just one. This one here, the black, and it's super pigmented. Now, you really can't use it as an eyeliner unless you set it with the black shadow on top of it because it's not long lasting. I think it's just meant to be like a base and make something really bold. Like you could lay that and then put a shimmer over it. It'd be absolutely gorgeous. So yeah, this palette I do grab for quite often. It's so beautiful. The choices are gorgeous. And let me put the Huda Grunge right here just so you can see how close that is. Yeah, and the formula in this one, I mean, honestly, I think every shade that I tried, I just loved. So I think I do gravitate towards cool tone palettes, as you will see as we start moving up here. So that was number 4. Number 3 is the Sundown palette. I just got this palette. Oh my gosh, you guys, I think it's just maybe 2 or 3 videos back, and I just went wild over that one shimmer. And like I mentioned, I think I would just, you know, honestly, it was really hard for me not to put it at number 1 just because of that shimmer, but I have to take everything into consideration, and that shimmer is this one right here. Okay, so it's dupe palette. Again, this is brand new, and it's My Dream palette. So My Dream palette by Natasha Denona is quite you know, it's an older palette, but and that's the thing with Alter Ego that I find that a palette could be like 2, 3 years old, and all of a sudden they come up with its dupe. So if you're waiting for it to be a dupe, for them to come up with a dupe right away, like if you're waiting on the golden palette or I need a warm palette, it might not happen, you know, for a while, but eventually I think it will. But yeah, it's absolutely a beautiful. Again, this shimmer down here, you know, this is the star of this whole palette. But like I was mentioning, I bet you're going, well, ma'am, you know, you don't like these shades. They irritate your eyes. Well, they do. I just can't use a lot of it. But as you can see, there's more neutrals in this palette than that one that I showed you, even like over here. So, and the shimmers are absolutely stunning. So, that is the Harmony, or no, the Sundown and the Dream palette. I'll put it side by side. And as you will see, yeah, they're all just very, very close. So very pretty palette. Again, this one here, I think it's just the shade. They're going to have to work on it because it just falls, it lacks that luster. It falls short. I will show you. I mean, and that is swirling quite often. So it's just not pigmented, you know. And like I said, you know, when I went in, if you guys watched the other video where I did the review on this, I am super tongue-tied, you guys. I just been filming like crazy and I am just running all over my words. So please bear with me in these upcoming videos. And if you're new, I mean, I am a tongue-tied, oh my God, tongue-tied person. Anyway, but yeah, it's gotten a little out of control these past videos. Now, I did put this one on my lower lash line in that one video, and it was pretty pigmented. So again, it could just be one of those that you had to apply on your eye to get that color payoff. Okay, number 2 is Daylight, and here is the packaging. Absolutely beautiful. Oh, I just love that. It's just very fall, very dreamy. I just, oh, love it. Daylight. Okay, Daylight's dupe would be, or it's a dupe of Natasha Denona. And what is it? I can't even read my, I need a nude. I need a nude. I just showed you. That's on my eyes. Oh, God. Oh, Lord, I'm going to need a nap after this. And I do have that, a palette. So let me put the two side by side. And that, yeah, I mean, come on. Let me do this just so you guys I can see. Look at that. I mean, you can hardly tell. Now, like I was saying, some of the formula, of course, with the Natasha Denona is more creamy, especially I think with the mattes than the Alter Ego. But the shimmers, I feel sometimes I like the shimmers better in the Alter Ego. So it's just sometimes a trade-off. And of course, it can't be a complete dupe. But, you know, if they can do it, it's great. So let me just do a couple swatches so you can get an idea of what I'm saying. So these are the mattes, and this one here is the Alter Ego, and this one here is the Natasha Denona. As you can see, you know, this one is clearly a much more pigmented, but if you do build up on the Alter Ego, I do find you can get pretty close to the Natasha Denona. So yeah, I mean, that is one shade that I wanted to show you that it's very, you know, it's different. So, but I mean, again, I have done side by sides and you really, it's hard to tell the difference once you apply it on your eye. Okay, and number 1 is the Mirage palette. I love this palette from, you know, the packaging. I love this. It just reminds me of, you know, the kids with the desert. And honestly, I've seen a few sunsets like this in Arizona. So it just reminds me of that a lot. And its dupe is the Huda Empowered. So I'm going to share with you why it's number 1. Of course, I'm going to share with you, but the reason why is I feel you get 2 different palettes in this, and I like how it's divided. Like this one here looks like one palette, you know, right here, and then the shimmers divide the 2, and then they have it like this. I wish they would do that more often, or more brands would do that with their eyeshadows. If you're going to have a big palette like this, like a 15, 16, whatever it is, kind of divide it up and make it make sense. I need them to make sense, because when they are spread all apart, all apart, and it doesn't make sense, I tend not to reach for that palette because of that reason, because it becomes very confusing to me. So that's why I love this one. I love the shades in here. These are definitely shades that I would use. This one's more cool tone. That's like it's such a beautiful shade. Let me show you. It's almost like a purpley eggplant shade. So, I mean, look at that. I use that so often. I can't even tell you how many eye looks I have done using this palette. As you can see, it's very well loved. Okay, so again, it's dupe to the number one. The Mirage is Huda Empowered, and I'll place that right here just so you can see that they are very similar. All right, so that is my ratings. That is the comparison between, the Alter Ego and their dupe. Again, they are always doing dupes. I honestly think every single palette that they have is a dupe to something. So, yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you so much, Katherine, again, for that suggestion. I think it's absolutely brilliant. Again, you guys, if you ever have a request or a suggestion, put it in the comments and I definitely will try to make it happen. All right, you guys, I hope you did enjoy today's video. If you did, please do me a huge favor. Hit that like button. It truly helps me and the channel out. And if you haven't subscribed already, please do so. I would love to have you. I love reading comments, so make sure to leave me a comment. And if you're new, just say hi or leave me an emoji. All right, you guys, I can't wait to see you again. I love you so much. And until next time.